Hello there, everyone. If you're watching this video, then you are part of the TTOR army, an army that is building itself up one subscriber at a time. As you can see from the title and thumbnail of today's video, today we're going to be talking about how Donald Trump won the 2024 U.S. presidential election and the aftermath of his election victory. Now, in case you've been living under a rock, about a week ago at the time of this recording, the U.S. presidential election, as well as other elections in the U.S., happened. And it was not good for the Democrats. Kamala Harris was the Democratic appointee. I say appointee because Joe Biden was actually nominated for re-election, but chose to step down after the first assassination attempt on Donald Trump failed. Kamala Harris was appointed to the position. And so Kamala Harris ran against Donald Trump, the GOP nominee, and it ended very poorly for Kamala Harris. As you can see on screen, it was a slaughter. Donald Trump ended up winning all of the battleground states like Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania and North Carolina and Georgia. And because he won those battleground states, Donald Trump ended up with 312 electoral college votes. And Kamala Harris ended up with only 226. And as you can see, Trump also won the popular vote. He has 75,518,895 votes, which is more votes than he had in the 2020 presidential election when he lost to Joe Biden. And it's also way more votes than he had in the 2016 presidential election when he beat Hillary Clinton. So in every election that he ran in, Donald Trump got more votes than he did in the previous one. I find that to be very interesting and very good. Kamala Harris had 72,372,000 votes, and that basically shows that the Democrats and the lefties who are complaining that Kamala Harris had votes stolen from her, well, they don't really have a leg to stand on because she got a lot more votes than Hillary Clinton did in 2016 when Hillary Clinton won the popular vote but lost the election. So Kamala Harris, I think, got as many votes as could be expected. And Donald Trump got more than he got last time, and he won all the key battleground states. So, yeah, Donald Trump won in a landslide. It was a slaughter as far as presidential elections go. It was not really close. I mean, they pretty much called the election on election night. It was so lopsided. It's only in the days after the election where his giant lead in the popular vote has shrunk a little, but he still has a 3 million vote lead in that category. But the bottom line is Donald Trump in January of next year is going to be the president of the United States of America again for the next 4 years. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, what about the aftermath? Well, someone called I Meme, Therefore I Am wrote, "Wholly censored, Karens lost their effing minds over Trump's win and launched MATGA, short for Make Aqua Tofana Great Again. Aqua Tofana was a powerful poison in 17th century Sicily, sold by women to other women seeking to escape abusive relationships by discreetly poisoning their husbands. First, Karens on TikTok and Instagram kicked off the 4B movement, refusing to marry, have children, date, or have relationships with men. They started wearing blue bracelets and getting blue heart tattoos to recognize each other in public as Harris voters, and this soon evolved into the MATGA movement. WTAF. The first video got over 1.3 million likes." So, apparently, a bunch of leftist women who voted for Kamala Harris are really angry that Donald Trump won the election against Kamala Harris this year and have lost their minds so much that they're now advocating for poisoning their husbands or poisoning men in general. Because at first it was the 4B movement. Well, we're just going to refuse to marry men, refuse to date men, refuse to have relationships with men, refuse to have children with men, and now they're openly talking about poisoning men and killing them in cold blood because they voted wrong. Right. Yeah, that shows that you guys are the bastion of logic and reason and rationality, and you're totally not reacting emotionally at all. Then AF Post reported that the LGBT suicide hotlines saw an uptick in calls following Trump's victory. And that makes no sense at all. And this person on Twitter called Prussian said, I don't get you people. He's literally not going to do anything to us gay people. Never even hinted that he would. And so we have a gay person here saying, dude, why are all these people in my community calling suicide hotlines because Trump won the election? He has never hinted that he's going to do anything to persecute gay people or lesbians or anyone else in that community in any way, shape, or form. So why the overreaction? And then someone named Amala, whose last name I can't pronounce, said, Trump won an election, and now I'm seeing leftists say they want to deport every Latino that voted for him. They want to end interracial relationships with white people, and they want black men who voted for him to die at the hands of police. Trump voters are the racist ones, though. Right. So as you can see, a lot of emotional reactions from the left in response to Trump winning. The salt mining has been terrific for the past week. And it's going to be like that for the next 4 years, I'm sure. But what about the legacy media? Well, in 2016, when Donald Trump won the presidential election that year, legacy media corporations started advocating for social media censorship even harder than it was going on back then. And over the next 4 years, we saw social media censorship get exponentially worse on the internet, especially on big tech platforms. And it's only gotten worse during the Biden-Harris administration. Well, let's see if the legacy media is changing their tune. Libs of TikTok wrote, The View just basically said the quiet part out loud. Kamala lost because Americans can now think for themselves and we have free speech on X. We no longer need to listen to the fake news media for the narrative and we can call out their lies in real time. And let's listen to this 28-second clip to see if the ladies on The View really did advocate for regulating social media, i.e. censoring people on the internet following Trump's win.
In Finland, kids in nursery school are learning to discern between fake news and real news. Yeah. They should be teaching that in this country. Yes. Teach children tolerance. Teach them to think critically.
Well, it would help if we could regulate social media, because one of the biggest offenders is D.C. and Congress have not been able to do one thing in regard to the rogue corporations of social media.
It's not going to get any better with Elon Musk now in the administration. I want to end.
So yes, they did. We need to regulate social media because Donald Trump won the U.S. presidential election. And specifically, we got to rope in X, which is the social media site that Elon Musk owns. Well, I'm hearing the same tune as 8 years ago. What about CNN? Western Lensman said, New. CNN's Van Jones calls for social media regulation and a halt to unlimited amounts of money in politics. Interesting timing. Just happens to coincide with Elon Musk platforming free speech on X, becoming involved in politics, and Democrats convincingly losing a presidential election. Democrats are incensed that they have lost their information monopoly largely due to X, and they are angry about it. Democrats vastly outraise and outspend Republicans in every presidential election cycle, and this one was no different. But let's watch the clip.
There are two sets of laws and rulings we have to deal with. The Supreme Court has allowed this unlimited amount of money dumping in. And then, there are legal protections that allow these companies to do what they want to and do what they will. I think in a normal country, we would say, hold on a second, maybe we need to have a different set of regulations for social media platforms now that they're this big. Maybe we need to have less money in the system. Mm-hmm. But that conversation is not happening yet.
So, just like we saw in The View, CNN's Van Jones calling for social media regulation to occur following Donald Trump winning the 2024 U.S. presidential election. So it looks like the legacy media is singing the same tune that they did 8 years ago when Donald Trump won the presidential election the first time around. That means they're probably going to spend the next 4 years calling for even more tech censorship, and we're probably going to see even more tech censorship, at least from platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and maybe some other sites like Instagram. Now, in the past, I would have said that Twitter would be part of that, but Elon Musk owns Twitter now, and he rebranded it as X, so I don't think that X is going to do as much censoring as other platforms will, if they do any at all. But the bottom line is we will see an uptick in censorship on certain sites moving forward now that Trump has won the election again, and Democrats and legacy media people are calling for more social media regulation, i.e. censorship. So alternative platforms like Rumble, Gab, Getter, and Truth Social are still going to be important for communicating with people. As a matter of fact, I have 2 social media sites of my own. One is a video sharing site called Quarter. It is very feature-rich and functional. It is very competitive in terms of features with YouTube, but also has features that YouTube doesn't have. And I champion freedom of speech on Quarter. Quarter is a website that I run personally, and it's been online for 2.5 years. And because I'm a free speech advocate, you can say and do whatever you want on Quarter as long as it's not terrorist content and it's not pornographic content. Same thing with Creation Social, which is my own open source alt-tech alternative to sites like Facebook and Gab. And basically what it is a place for content creators and normal people alike to come and have conversations with each other, share your content around, and basically just communicate freely and not have to worry about being censored. And just like Quarter, I operate Creation Social by First Amendment philosophy, since both websites are hosted in the United States of America, which means First Amendment protections apply. And so as long as what you say is legally protected by the First Amendment of the United States of America, and it's not promoting terrorism or pornographic content, you can say and do whatever you want on Creation Social as well. And with that, I bid you guys adieu and farewell, and I look forward to seeing the next 4 years with Donald Trump as the United States president, and hopefully you guys enjoy the next 4 years as well. Ta-ta for now.